מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא אחסר. בנות אשר ירביצני ימי מנוחות ינחלני, נפשי שובב. ינחני ומגלי צדק למען שמו, גם כי הלך בגצון מוות, לא ירא רע כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי. דשנת ושמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדיפוני כל ימי חיי. בשבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. I've chanted for you the words of our 23rd Psalm. As we face these difficult moments in life when our hearts are filled with so much sadness, we often turn to the psalmist, seeking comfort and strength. And so I ask you now to recite these words with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember him. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember him. In the opening buds and in the rebirth of spring, we will remember him. In the blueness of sky and in the warmth of summer, we will remember him. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember him. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember him. When we are weary and in need of strength, we will remember him. When we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember him. And when we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember him. So long as we live, he too will live, for he is now a part of us as we remember Ronald Lertzman. To you, Joyce, his wife of over 60 years, to his daughter, Vicky, and his son-in-law, Craig, to his grandchildren, Brooke, Ashley, Chad, Blake, and Ryan, and also to Brad, Selena, and Rob, and to his beautiful and precious great-grandchildren, to Blakely and Logan and Cameron and Chase, to his brothers-in-law, Norm and Lee, and his sisters-in-law, Marilyn and Bonnie, to his nieces and nephews, to so many dear members of the family and cherished friends. We've all come together today to remember, but also to cherish the life of your beloved Ronnie. Our sages have taught us that birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey, from childhood to maturity and from youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness, but often back again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude and pain to compassion, from grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage to life everlasting. Ron's journey of 86 years began here in Cleveland. He was born on October 31st, 1931, to Barney and Edith Lertzman. Ron and his younger sister Jane, of blessed memory, grew up on Washington Boulevard in University Heights. His parents were hardworking people. They built their business, the Barney Lertzman Company, where Barney worked as the entrepreneur and auctioneer, and Edith tended to the bookkeeping. Ron was a product of the Cleveland Heights school system, and following his graduation from Cleveland Heights High School, he matriculated to Western Reserve University, where he majored in business. After his college career, he first went to work for an insurance company, and then Ronald joined his parents' business and turned it into a national liquidating company. Now somehow, through a friend of a friend, Ron was given a phone number of a young lady that he was supposed to call and ask out on a date. And that young lady, of course, was you, Joyce. Joyce, you shared with me that your mom had this very special gift. Your mom could see things and feel things, and she simply knew things that other people could not feel or sense. And the week before Ronnie called you, your mom told you, or predicted rather, that you were going to receive a phone call on Sunday at 3 p.m., and she also predicted that the person making this call was going to ask you out and would be picking you up driving in a white convertible. Do I have that straight, Joyce? That's right. Your mom's prediction was 100% accurate, because Ronnie Lertzman called you that Sunday at 3 o'clock, and the following Wednesday he picked you up in his white convertible. 3 days later, I'm not sure if your mom predicted this, but 3 days later, Ronnie asked you to marry him. And this union must have been written in the stars. 3 months later, on February 6, 1955, you and Ronnie were married at the Temple on the Heights with Rabbi Rudolph Rosenthal officiating. Joyce, you and Ronnie were quite the team. Together you created a beautiful family, and as the Jewish wedding Sheva Brachot, the 7 blessings of the Jewish wedding ceremony, state, they describe the bride and groom, as we would say in Hebrew, as Re'im Ahuvim. Literally translated, Joyce, this means loving partners. Re'im Ahuvim, loving partners. And as loving partners, Joyce, the two of you worked side by side. You worked together. You were his bookkeeper. You traveled all over the country together for business, visiting California, Chicago, Texas, Atlanta, New York, the list goes on and on. And Joyce, as the two of you worked side by side with your beloved and his entrepreneurial and innovative ideas, you saw as he set other things in motion. He opened up a discount store before they were a thing. The store called It's Cheap. And Ronnie was in the earliest stages of what would become home shopping, shopping on TV. He was what I'll say QVC before there was a QVC. Joyce, he had a show, and you were the host or the hostess. People would call in and order things they saw on TV. Ronnie, your sweet husband, he was sharp and always one step ahead. And if for any reason Ronnie's business ventures didn't pan out, if for some reason he had to shut down the business, he was ready with his next career because he was a beautiful singer. He had a beautiful voice, and he even had a stage name picked out, Ronald Stevens. So this was what he was going to do if the business thing didn't work out for him. But Joyce, it was all these special and endearing qualities that you saw in Ronnie, the qualities you described to me when we spoke yesterday. You said you admired him, the way he stepped in to help raise your siblings. You saw how he took great care of your mother, Joyce, when your father passed. He was a wonderful son-in-law. He even took your mom to visit Las Vegas and the Bahamas. And with Ronnie, you saw an unconditional love that he showered upon you, and more importantly, on your children and your grandchildren. Joyce, you also saw the strength that your husband demonstrated 14 years ago as the two of you were faced with the most tragic of heartbreaks, the loss of your beautiful son, Craig. Not just a son to Ronnie, but also a best friend. Your daughter Vicky told me that Ronnie was a very spiritual person and that he knew one day he would see his son again. And perhaps now, we pray, they are reunited. Joyce, you also loved the ways he took care of you. You said he took care of everything, and he would always say things to you like, I love you the most in the whole world, or I love you with all my heart. And Vicky, you told me that your dad was your hero, and the song that most made you think of your father is that song we know as The Wind Beneath My Wings. Growing up, Vicky, if you were ever in trouble, and from the way you shared it with me, it sounds like that happened a few times or more. You said that your dad could be very strict, and he would enforce at least giving a punishment, but he never stuck to the punishment. It sounds like, he was your yes man. He had trouble not saying yes to you. He taught you and your brothers good values. You shared with me that it was through your dad's actions, Vicky, that you learned what the best choices in life were, and that was to treat everyone equally. You saw your father many times perform what I call random acts of kindness. There were the number of times he would bring home homeless to join your family in a meal. You said he was an excellent motivational speaker, whether it was with people he worked with or more importantly, his family. And Vicky, you described your dad as always being so positive and upbeat. Vicky, you also marveled in seeing your father interact with the grandchildren. Papa Ronnie would come over every day when the kids were growing up. And whether it was a day when he was known as Papa Ronnie, or occasionally a day when he was known as Papa Grumpy, he adored his grandchildren, and he only wanted to spend time with them and take them anywhere and everywhere. And so, Vicky, you said one other thing that really stuck with me about your dad. You said that he had an aura of goodness about him. An aura of goodness. In a world today that feels so broken and so confusing to all of us, to know that we have people out there who are positive, who have that aura of goodness around them, this is what gives us hope. Now, we are taught in our tradition that words which come from the heart enter directly to the heart. And there are a few people from the family today who have words in their heart that they want to share with all of us. I'd first like to call on his grandson, Chad.
Theme that everyone's been talking about is my papa and his generosity. He's one of the most generous and kind and loving people. I spent the past several weeks when he's been sick having flashbacks to all the memories. Every time we would come over to their house, not on Papa's house in Lanark Lane, we were extremely excited because every time being around Papa was an adventure. Whether you're telling us stories, watching movies, playing Papa Shot, I'm teaching you how to use the computer because you didn't know how to use one for 20 years. Cold calling, trying to get people to your auctions, or going to the carousel theaters where I would fall asleep after I ate sherbet ice cream. One of our favorite topics were sports. Me, you, Blake, Ryan, and Craig would get into arguments constantly. But one thing that was constant was we never knew what team you actually liked because you were one of the most fickle people we ever met. Same with politics. One day you loved Hillary Clinton, one day you loved Donald Trump, so it's very hard to gauge. But you were the most positive person. You treated everyone like royalty. You were uplifting no matter what the situation was, and you made sure to tell your grandkids how much you loved them to this day. You taught us how to be generous, honest, and humble. Your legacy will forever live on with our family. We love you so much, and you are the rock to the family. And Brad, I think.
Thank you. Brad's also going to join us. Brad has some words written by granddaughters Ashley and Brooke that he's going to share.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brad Oski. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Ashley's husband. I'm going to say a few words on behalf of Ashley and Brooke, Ronnie's granddaughters. Papa, there are so many memories, so many years that we could stand up here forever. What we want you to know is that you were the most amazing, smart, talented, generous, charismatic, and beautiful man both inside and out. Usually, we wouldn't emphasize on how handsome you were, but to go along with all of your amazing qualities came a very vain man too. We will always remember that wherever there is a mirror, Papa Ronnie was staring at himself, gasping at his own beauty. But you also gasped at our beauty as you told us how smart, successful, and absolutely gorgeous we were every day. And we were so lucky to see you almost daily. Whether it was being in the office Monday through Friday with you, Nana and Craig, to our sleepovers with your bedtime stories of the adventures of Brooke, Ashley, and Chad, to our Saturday night outings going to the drive-in, where the one time you lost your cool, you got stuck with your worst nightmare nickname, Papa Grumpy, which was in fact the exact opposite of who you are, to our 4 p.m. dinner breaks at Bank of America, to our weddings, to your amazing great-grandchildren who always made you laugh, even when laughing seemed unimaginable. You made our life so enriched with love and kindness that shaped who we are today. This is top secret information, but your president and VP are standing here today to keep Ronsky and Janesky alive, and we will make sure you live up to your word. Hopefully, we can be as successful as you were in life and business and naturally touch people's lives with a simple hello. You not only lit up every room you walked in, you had a way with people that made them feel like they were one of a kind. You were the most incredible husband, father, papa, and great-grandpa, and we only wish that our kids had more time with you. However, the time would not be spent with you behind the wheel opening doors on the freeway and snoring at the wheel. We know that, like us, you were a spiritual soul, and we know that you are now our guardian angel with Uncle Craig watching over us forever. Your spirit and overwhelming love will always be with us, and you are our heart forever. Love, Ashley and Brooke.
Finally, I want to call on his daughter Vicky, who also has some words to share with us. As Vicky is literally detaching herself from one of the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren of Ronnie. All right. And how beautiful it is that we are surrounded with all 4 great-grandchildren today.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. My dad is my hero. He was the most loving and selfless human being who would give the shirt off his back. My dad had a way of making me feel like the most beautiful girl in the world. His words of wisdom and advice are something I will take with me always. Although my dad spoiled me, he taught me how to appreciate everything I had. We shared so many qualities from our looks to our bad tempers. When I was young, I definitely knew how to push his buttons. I would get him so mad that he would punish me and feel so bad, and then he would take me on a shopping spree the next day. My dad was a true inspiration who touched the lives of anyone he crossed paths with. He was the type of man who treated the janitor with the same respect as the president. Success to my dad meant being rich with love and his family. I'm so blessed to have been able to share my dad with my beautiful kids and grandkids who loved and adored him. With great pride, I'm honored to say that I'm my father's daughter. Dad, I love you so much. You're the wind beneath my wings.
It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth, course I know it. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I could fly higher than an eagle, for you are the wind beneath my wings. And in the words of the poet Ralph Waldo Emerson, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others and to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden path, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you lived. This is to have succeeded. Ronnie succeeded. He truly did. We take a moment now as we ask God to accept Ronald's soul. And now, as you're able, I invite you to rise as we hear the words of El Malei Rachamim, the memorial prayer. El Malei Rachamim, shochen bamromim, המסמנו חנכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מסעירים. את נשמת יוסל בן ברוך, שהלך לעולמו בגן עדן תחת מנוחתו. ענה ברחמים אסתירהו, בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, ותצרוד בצרוד החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר Amen. O merciful God who dwells on high, who is full of compassion, grant perfect rest beneath the shelter of your divine presence among the holy and pure, who shine as the brightness of the firmament, and to our dear departed Ronald Lertzman, who has gone now to his eternal home. May Ronnie's soul be bound up in the bonds of eternal life, and grant that his memory inspire all of us to noble and consecrated living. And to this we say, Amen. You may be seated. Friends, our service will continue at the Mount Olive Cemetery. And on behalf of the entire family, we thank you for your love and support today.